Hello and welcome to, I think I want to say this is the first official inaugural episode. I'm going to call this series The Day After. It is the day after the Panthers and Cardinals game. If you ain't know about the jersey and previous videos, I am a fan of the Carolina Panthers home team representing. Sit back with our little alcoholic beverage, Chardonnay. Today is a choice here. We're going to talk about this game and our takeaways from it. So buttery smooth the Chardonnay is. But what wasn't buttery smooth was this Panthers-Cardinals game. If you didn't know, the Panthers had a late game comeback, but ultimately was unsuccessful. Final score ended up being 27-22 for week 2 in Arizona. The Cardinals moved to 2-0, still undefeated. Panthers, second straight loss. So where do we want to begin with this game? I'll start with the good takeaways. First of all, number one, T-Mac, if you didn't think so before, is that dude. He is a legit stud. He is our wide receiver one. If you didn't think it was official before this week, like if last week didn't show you that, then this week definitely should solidified it. Had a great game, 6 catches, 100 yards. Really should have been more if you kind of would have got fed more than in the drive. I think the Cardinals figured out he was our only real receiving option, which I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But yeah, T-Mac had an amazing game. Really is looking to establish himself as one of the premier receivers. I think he can be that good in the league. Physical tools there. I wish we could utilize and throw up some more jump balls for him, because I think, especially in the end zone, I think he has capabilities to be able to make those plays, those jump balls, because physically he's going to be taller than just about every DB and corner covering him. So hopefully in the future we'll take advantage of more of his size. But so far I have no complaints about T-Mac. He's been playing great. Also, good things from yesterday. J.C. Horn, I think we got to give credit to him where it's due as well. Played a great game. Marvin Harrison Jr. pretty much was, from lack of a better term, a non-factor. Only had, 2 catches on 5 targets, right? 2 catches, 5 targets, 27 yards. Not really a factor here. Got to shout out J.C. Horn. We paid him big money. He made the Pro Bowl last year, and I'm glad to see he's continuing that productive play. And, really trying to establish himself as one of that top 2, top 3 corners. Obviously, I think kind of Patrick Surtain, the second, kind of has that top corner position wrapped up. But, hey, JC, because he was drafted in the same draft as Patrick Surtain, and I think we even picked him beforehand. And I think, 2021 was the draft, or 2020? I don't know. I don't remember the draft exactly. But, I mean, it's a lot of pressure low-key on him, man. It looks like he's living up to it. I'm glad he's staying healthy. Hopefully, he can keep that up. But got to give him credit, too. He's been playing well. Also, got to give a little bit of credit to the run defense. Last week, Travis Etienne and the Jaguars just ran all over us like we were a middle school team. This week, we did a little bit better. Only 82 yards allowed on the run game. I think James Conner only had like 30-something yards, 38 yards, something like that. How much of that is because of our run defense or because we didn't give them enough field position, or the Cardinals just felt more comfortable in the passing game? They were just making plays in the air. Why even bother running the ball, right? But the numbers and, from my eye test, James Conner and them didn't just run all over us. So credit to Vero for that run defense. They played good. Also, just for us continuing to fight throughout the duration of the game. Early on, when it was going to halftime, we was down 20-3, just like last week against the Jaguars. We were down 20-3 in the half, and it's kind of looking like, oh, man, here we go. And kind of another repeat of last week's kind of embarrassment, more or less. But, hey, we fought. We made this an actual game to the point where, it actually got interesting. We kind of had, 19 unanswered points. We got into it late, got the onside kick, which was our first onside kick in, 6 years, I think. So, good job on special teams executing there. The fact that we were able to be in it, I think, speaks to us mentally. And the players about how they are bought in, and Canales says they're not tuning him out, right? If there was another team where the messaging of the coaching staff wasn't really connecting, then by halftime the players had already been checked out, right? But we were able to fight back and get ourselves in a position to make this game competitive. I gotta give credit to the team there. It means we're fighting down to every minute and we're not giving up on a play. And that's good, especially for a young team like this. You want to see them fight and grind for every play, because every play does matter. Now, let's talk about some of the bad things, because we got a couple here. First off, I think obviously is our early play. It was atrocious. I didn't even get a chance to see the Bryce Young fumble, but but he fumbled, and that led to a touchdown. So that's 7 points right there. Again, the turnovers are killing us, especially early on in the game. We're unable to build that momentum. That was followed the fumble by a bad throw by Bryce, where he kind of just threw the ball up in the air. I think he threw it while he was getting hit, and it led to a Cardinals interception. So another turnover. Early turnovers killing, momentum for us, and then providing, good yardage situation for the Cardinals. So even though you look on the stat sheet, we might have had more yards than the Cardinals, but they didn't even need to get that many yards because we gave them such great field position with the turnovers. So early start, we really put ourselves in the hole. Kyler Murray and them were just kind of getting what they want because we gave them the good field position. And then even when we would punt the ball, it feels like early on our defense wasn't really able to stop Kyler in the passing game. I know I spoke about JC shutting down Marvin Harrison, but Trey McBride has 7 catches, 85 yards. So, we shut down one, and then their tight end opens up for some options and plays. But the early start definitely put us in a hole that was just tough to come out of. And had we played more in that last quarter like we did the first 3, the whole different complexity of the game would have been different. Another negative, the run game. Only 49 yards total. That's not going to do it. Maybe you can credit some of that to the Cardinals' run defense, but I think we're a lot better than 49 yards. We got to find ways to get that run game going. Chuba got his money. I wouldn't blame it on Chuba. I think for this game, really, I want to say this is probably due to the O-line. The O-line couldn't stop that Cardinals pass rush. I'm down they were able to stop and make opportunities for Chuba to get some running lanes going, but overall run game is pretty silent. Definitely got to improve on that, though. 49 yards is not going to cut it. I think that's asking a little too much of Bryce to put the team on his back at this point in time. And like I just spoke on, the O-line. This O-line got a lot of money invested into it. We got Taylor Moton, Robert Hunt. Ickey came back this week from injury. I know he had an appendectomy that prevented him from starting week 1, so he came back this week. And we were expecting, at least I was expecting them to be a little more better. And this week, we allowed 3 sacks, and it seems like pressure was always in Bryce's face. If I find the official numbers on, pressure rates and how much Bryce was hit, I'll post that somewhere. But the O-line definitely disappointed. And the O-line is supposed to be running the strong suits of this team. Because of that, Ickey got Taylor Moton, Robert Hunt. And the narrative that the people try to push is that the O-line is great, it's Bryce that can't make the plays. And now you see people are flip-flopping. Well, now Bryce was making plays, but the O-line can't do it. So in either case, O-line, you got to do better. We got to give Bryce some more time. I think the number I did see, he only had 2.5 seconds to get a pass off. Let's give him some more time. Let's let these plays develop a little more so he can stay comfortable in the pocket. I will give Bryce credit, though. He did, once the game got a little more going, especially in the 3rd or 4th quarter, you saw him get a little more comfortable in the pocket, stay in there, make timely throws. So I'll give credit to Bryce for that. But the O-line as a whole, got to do better. And Xavier Legette, man, I'm trying to hold out. But 8 targets, -2 total yards. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. And you really see where we were missing that wide receiver, too, that we want Xavier Legette to be in this game. You can tell the Cardinals kind of figured out on that last drive that T-Mac is the only guy on this offense really making plays. We shut him down and put our attention on him. Nobody else is going to be able to step up. And this is a game, these opportunities where Legette, I feel like, should be able to step up and make plays. Now, I'm not going to put all the blame on him. A lot of those targets were inopportune throws, untimely throws, so I can't put all of that on him. But a lot of those he had in his hands. You just got to be more physical and go get that ball. 8 targets, -2 yards is not going to cut it. I spoke about this in the Panthers preview video that Legette should have been hungry this year because Steve Smith echoed the same sentiments, and he spoke on it in the preseason game. Legette should be hungry this year. We chose a wide receiver in the 1st round this year in this draft when he was our number 1 pick in the year prior, 2024. So he should have a chip on his shoulder like, dang, y'all, I didn't make that much of an impression in my rookie year. So we all had to go and get another wide receiver almost as a replacement. Because if I would have stepped up, I would have been wide receiver 1. But now T-Mac has just come in and taken all that away. So I'm still holding on to Leggett, man. I think the tools are there, and I've seen the work he put in the offseason, but it just got to translate. I'm going to give him, a couple more weeks. I mean, he's on the team regardless. People are saying bench him for Jimmy Horn. I don't think that really works. I think Jimmy Horn is definitely more of like a slot player, right? So he has his chance and his opportunity to really establish himself as a wide receiver that can be productive. But numbers like that ain't going to cut it. Hopefully he has a strong, good home opener against the Falcons, so that can quiet some of the fan base and some of the kind of narratives saying that he's a bust and woody woo, yada yada. I'm going to hold out hope, but the clock is ticking because we can't have a performance like that again at all. And for the last bad take, with the play calling the last drive and the 2-point conversions really kind of confused me. That last drive, when we got the onside kickback, I believe we had a timeout in like a minute 50. Why are we taking all these deep shots down the field? T-Mac in that mid-range game was pretty on point. I mean, T-Mac was going across the middle, kind of getting what he wanted. Could we not use Hunter Renfrow in those same type of ways? I think, though, that kind of speaks to the defense recognizing that T-Mac was the only issue, so they kind of removed him from the equation, and then another wide receiver couldn't step up. The 2-point conversions as well, I didn't really like. If you're going to run the ball, I think we ran the ball with both 2-point conversion times for it. You got T-Mac, you got Xavier, you got some physical wide receivers. Throw the ball up and let's see him make a play. Both of them are first-round picks. Let's see why we chose them in the first round, right? Let's throw the ball up. Let's just give them an opportunity to make a play. And I'm fine by living or dying on that. So going forward, next week is the home opener against the Falcons, who they just came off a big win in Minnesota. Pretty much shut down that whole Viking offense. That was a big win for them on the road. They're going to come in with some momentum off of that win. And I didn't post my day after the Jaguars Panthers game. I didn't post that one. I wasn't kind of buying into people that were saying, the team is done after week 1, trade everybody, bench Bryce, this team sucks. I wasn't buying into that. I said, let's give them to the home opener being the Falcons game to have them look competent. That would have been 3 weeks, give them some time to gel, get some things rolling. And you can't put on a bad performance at home. On the road is a different way in a sense, but you can't come home and do that. That's not going to bode well at all. So now that you have a Falcons team that actually looks like it can be kind of good to shut down that Vikings team like they did, how are we going to respond? How are we going to stop Bijan Robinson? First and foremost, our run defense is already suspect, even though we did a great job, or we did a pretty good job this game against the Cardinals, holding them to only 82. Bijan had 22 rushes and 143 yards against a Vikings defense that is supposed to be pretty damn good. So what are we going to do to stop that? If Vero and them need to somehow come up with some type of schemes, I don't know what they're going to do, but that's going to be my main question. How are we going to slow down Bijan? After that, my question is for the O-line. The Vikings allowed 6 sacks to that Falcons pass rush. What are we going to do against that pass rush? Are we going to be able to slow them down? We're going to need these guys to step up. We can't have, our O-line take days off. We need everybody to be in sync. The center and Bryce to be in sync. We need a solid O-line game if we want to get anything going against that Falcons defense. Because if we're able to stop that pass rush, just the front 4, and then you have Bijan on the other side, who's more than likely going to get his anyway. We're not able to slow down even the skill players like Drake London. Maybe Kyle Pitts might get off. Michael Penix, you might allow to get some things going. It's going to be a long day. And also, we need to play great all 4 quarters. I'm not buying into the narrative that people are saying Bryce is a garbage time QB. I'm not doing all of that. I think that's just another reactionary take from the fans. But we can only be the man if 1 or 2 more plays would have went. We can only be that for so long before it gets tiring, because it's already kind of tiring. We see the glimpses, we see the flashes, but can we do that through all 4 quarters? We do that from kickoff, right, and carry that throughout the whole game. The problem is that we'll put ourselves in these deep holes, and then when we're having an opportunity to air it out in the 3rd and 4th quarter, that's when we look good, or we have these glimpses in between, but we're not able to finish drives with a touchdown. We'll have a turnover, or we'll have some type of drop or something, and then it will lead to just a field goal. We need to consistently get points on the board, touchdowns, not just field goals. So I want to see what Canales' messaging is to really drive home that point of let's play great all 4 quarters. Fourth quarter is not enough just to play good in the NFL. You got to be good all 4 quarters. So definitely going to be something I'm looking out for, to see if they come out playing inspired football all 4 quarters in front of their home opener. Hopefully they should be motivated. Being at home for the first time this year gives them an extra boost, gives them something more to play for, to put on a good game in front of their fans. So hopefully we're able to do that, especially with the division rival. It would be nice, even if we don't win, like I stated, I don't mind if we're losing games necessarily. It's just the effort and the manner we're losing. Are we getting blown out by 20? Is it more like this game where we struggled early on, but we're able to put some things together and make it interesting? So that's really what I'm looking for. Is Bryce going to really establish himself and play well through all 4 quarters? Is the defense going to make some stops? I'm looking for progress, not necessarily wins and losses. In any case, that's the things I'm looking for next week. We need consistency throughout 4 quarters, definitely throughout the play from wide receiver. Leggett, I think if this was any time to play good, a home opener would be a great way to flip the narrative around. He might have a big game. I think T-Mac is definitely due for a big game at home. The touchdown, his first touchdown of the year should be ensuing and incoming. I want to shout out to Hunter Renfrow, got 2 touchdowns on the day for the Carolina Panthers. Definitely nice story as well. He's kind of trying to get that comeback player of the year award under his belt, but we'll see if he consistently keeps that up, especially once Jalen Koku comes back from injury. But as of now, good job, Hunter. In either case, tell me what you guys and girls thought about the game. You're a Panthers fan, Cardinals fan, who is your team? Let's talk about it. If you are a Panthers fan, let me know what your thoughts on the team so far. I'm definitely down to dialogue about some Carolina action. As always, though, just lose some dark grapes and stay hydrated, stay moisturized.